ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਦਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ, ਹਰਿਯੰ ਕਰਿਯੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਦਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ, ਹਰਿਯੰ ਕਰਿਯੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਅਪਾਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ। Today, most likely, Maharaj will do kirpa and we will do samapti of Vichar Mala Granth. So, in the previous adhyay, in the last couple of Dohras, we did Vichar of that even the Raje, like Indra, Devte, all the different Devtes. So Indra is known as the most highest position when it comes to Devte. So even the Indra Devte like Indra, they long for this Brahmavastha as well. Now we have been given this opportunity in this human form to recognize that and be in this avastha. And in this avastha, there is always gyan, the chanan of gyan. So the agyanta completely gets removed. In this avastha, one no longer sees the world through the different lenses of Maya, through duality. And nor there is any me, or there is no me, myself, and another person in this avastha. So there is no drift between that this is mine, this is someone else, or this is a friend, or this is a person I don't like. There is absolutely no duality left. And it happens in a very sahaj avastha, in a very natural way. Maharaj says, ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਗਤ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਸੁਪਨ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਨ ਸੁਖੋਪਿਤ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰ ਤੇਰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ। ਕੇਵਲ ਆਤਮ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪ ਨਿਸ਼ਚੈ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। So in the Brahma Avastha, those who have realized their actual Sarup of this pure awareness, this Satchit Anand Sarup, there is no Jagrat Avastha. For instance, when we are awake, like we are talking at this point, this is called a Jagrat Avastha, the wakeful state where we do our daily chores. And there is the dream state when we go to sleep and we experience dream. And then there is a deep sleep. So in the deep sleep, the mind has become completely still. That's why in deep sleep, we do not have any experience of anything other than knowing that it's a deep sleep. In the same way, it's explained that the Brahmavastha, those who are the Brahmagyani, they are in this state as if they're always in this deep sleep. And what it means is, actually, they are fully awake. But the deep sleep here means that whatever is happening through their body, through in the world, they do not get affected by it. So the mind does not get impure with all the different guns of this the Maya. So that's what it means in deep sleep. Deep sleep. So just like in deep sleep, one does not have any clue where they are lying, what's happening to the body. Same way, or in deep sleep, they don't know if there is a family, there is a friend. So absolute no knowledge, gyan of any object. Same way, for Brahm, in Brahmavastha, there is no me, mine, or a family or a friend or anything. So here the Brahma Gyani, they are fully present in their own Sarup, which is the Brahma Sarup. So they have become drid in that Sarup. Dohra. ਗਿਆਨਵਾਨ ਅਨੇਕ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਕਈ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਸਾਰਿਕ ਰੀਤੀ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਧੂਮ ਆਕਾਸ਼, ਧੂਏ ਨਾਲ ਆਕਾਸ਼ ਲਿਪਾਇਮਾਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਗਿਆਨਵਾਨ ਪੁਰਖ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਝੂਠਾ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ after the realization, the Brahmavastha, those who have realized it, they are still doing the worldly chores, the actions. So karma, it's not that they stop doing any karma. Even if they're not doing any karma, that's still a karma, because if you're not doing anything, that's still classified as an action of not doing anything. So in this Brahmavastha, the Gyanvan Purkh are still doing their daily actions. They are still talking to people. They're doing their work. They are running. Even like some can be Raja as well, like Raja Janak. They were the king, so they are still doing the worldly duties, but they don't get entangled into that. So just like how if there is a smoke from the fire and the smoke reaches the space, the space atmosphere, just like that smoke does not touch the space, so there is always this this actual space between the akash, the space itself, and the smoke. Even if it looks like the smoke is going towards the sky, there is always this space, so they are not attached. Same way, the Gyanvan Purkh, they know the world that it's a dream. So it is known that just like how we get dream in the sleep, same way this sansar is a dream. So they know that it's a kade going on, so they do not get entangled in that. They are so still in their Atam Sarup that no amount of karma, the actions, whatever they do, even if they are speaking really nicely, even if they're doing great actions, no matter how good actions they are doing, even then they are not getting attached to that. It's not that they only, when they do good actions they are getting attached. So even during the great actions, even if they're doing parupakar of anyone, if they're doing katha, simran, talking to friends in general, they still are fully detached. This in the Atmavastha, nothing reaches this state. ਗਿਆਨਵਾਨ ਪੁਰਖ ਜਾਗਤ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਵੀ ਅਗਿਆਨੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵਾਂਗ ਸੁਕੋਪਤ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਸਤੀ ਦੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। So the ਗਿਆਨਵਾਨ ਪੁਰਖ, just like how someone who doesn't have gyan yet, and in the deep sleep, how there is no action that is actually happening. So the Gyanvan person is still performing their worldly duties, they're doing the actions. However, it's like they're in this deep sleep. It's even called as Sunna Samadhi. So there are different types of samadhi that's been explained. And one samadhi is when you are fully awake to while doing everything, yet you are in the Atmavastha, that everything has become sam. So sam means equal, samadhi, the intellect of seeing, perceiving everything as one. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਬਾਲਕ ਆਪਣੀ ਚੇਸ਼ਟਾ ਇੱਛਾ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਭਾਵ ਇੱਛਾ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਖੇਡਦਾ ਹੈ, ਇਉਂ ਗਿਆਨਵਾਨ ਪੁਰਖ ਆਨੰਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਭਾਵ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਆਤਮਿਕ ਆਨੰਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਭਾਵ ਆਤਮਿਕ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਾਣਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵਿਹਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਸਦਾ। So Maharaj here explains that just like how a child is playing in with his toys, or if you really notice a child when they if a child is playing with his toys, he's so fully in engaged with that activity. He's fully enjoying it at the same time. Same way, a Brahmagyani, while they are performing any task according to their desire, they will they will create a desire, because a Brahmagyani has reached a state where they don't even have any desire. But so that they can continue enjoying, engaging in this khed of Akal Purakh, they create desire. So in that desire, while doing their any actions, they remain in this Anandavastha. So every guru, from Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, they all were in Brahm, they were Brahma Sarup themselves. Yet they performed so many different actions. Yet they engaged with the world. They, the Singhs, the Shaheed Singhs, they even went through so much of sacrifice, torture, physical torture as well. And still they were not entangled in the sansaru, because they knew this was a game. This was a kale going off of Akal Purakh, and they knew their Atmavastha, so they remained still in that. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸੋਰਠਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸੁਪਨ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਰਾਜਾ ਰੰਕ ਕੰਗਾਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਗਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਖਾਣ ਪੀਣ ਲਈ ਦਰ ਦਰ ਭੀਖ ਮੰਗਦਾ ਫਿਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਕਿਤੋਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਮਿਲਣ ਕਾਰਨ ਭੁੱਖ ਦੇ ਅਧੀਨ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਣ ਛੱਡ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਪਰੰਤੂ ਜਦ ਜਾਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਉਹੀ ਪਲੰਗ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਤ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਭਰਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸੁਪਨਾ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ। So this is an example, let's say, of a king who was who is in his this king who is extremely wealthy. In his sleep, he thinks he's the beggar. So in that dream, he is begging for basic necessity like food, water, and he's not able to get that. And in that dream as well, he passes away, he dies. But when he wakes up from the dream, he becomes really happy that it was just a dream. So what happened was that was an illusion, the param. So same way, this jagat is like a param. When we are asleep, the asleep here means when we are in agyanta, when we think this world is something else, when we don't recognize the Satchit Ananda Sarup, when we don't recognize the Khed of Akal Purakh, we think this life is happening to us, as if we are going through this dukkha sukha, we are going through this bandhan of karma. But when Guru gives the gyan, then the illusion, the param is destroyed. In the same way that when once param is destroyed, they realize that actually they were never in danger, they were never trapped, they were always mukt only, they were always liberated. So it's mind in agyanta thinks that somehow the mind is entrapped into bandhan. But when the Guru blesses with the gyan, then the param gets destroyed, that it's all sab gobind hai, gobind bin nahi koi. So it's all one Akal Purakh, the Atam Satchitananda Sarup, that is a play is going on it in this Satchitananda Sarup. Dohra, ਉੱਥੇ ਆਸਾ ਤਿਸ਼ਨਾ ਰੱਬ ਉੱਤੇ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਰੱਖਣਾ, ਰੱਬੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਤੋਂ ਮੁਨਕਰ ਆਦ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਅਰ ਅਤੇ ਦੋ ਦਾ ਝਗੜਾ ਹੈ। ਨਾ ਹੀ ਦੋ ਦਾ ਝਗੜਾ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਹੀ ਛੋਟਾ ਵੱਡਾ। So in the Brahmavastha there is, so in the Brahmavastha, one then doesn't even say that they believe in God or they have faith in God. And the reason is because they have understood the hukam. They have become the hukam roop themselves. So there is no second entity, second like God like description remains in the Atmavastha. Nor there is any doubt that there is no God as well. Because from the experience of the Brahmagyan, the Brahmagyanis know the truth, and in that experience itself, the all the debates, all the illusions get fully removed. Nor there is anything that's smaller or greater in there. And neither there is any gun or avgun. So absolute no good behavior, bad behavior. So because we know that good, bad, any type of duality exists in the mind because of agyanta. But in Brahma Sarup, here Maharaj says, Apna Sarup Chetan Brahm hi drisht aunda hai. So in there, you only recognize your own Sarup, which is the Sat Chit Anand, this awareness, this consciousness. So in that state, that's the experience of a Brahmagyani. All the experiences themselves as this Atam Sarup, not just as to them, the body is temporary, the thoughts are temporary, but they have become this awareness that is always present. Dohra. Oho Chetan Brahma Agrah Pakdan to rehat hai, so one cannot capture this awareness. Now it is important while doing abhyas that we sit within ourselves and we observe. We start the abhyas by observing first of all by sitting in a particular posture, and we sit and we just observe that what's happening, like just to observe the thoughts, just to observe the surroundings. So that Brahma Sarup, it's not something that can be captured as well. And it cannot be seen through the eyes because the very energy, the very power, the Shakti that is being given to the Indriya, the senses, are because of Atma. So the one that is the observer, there is no second thing to observe that. So it itself, the awareness is that's present. So there is, the senses can't reach it because the senses are performing, working because of this the awareness, the Shakti of Atma. And bolan to ਰਹਿਤ ਹੈ, ਬਿਆਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਬੰਧਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ ਵਿਆਪਕ ਸਰੂਪ. So it cannot be captured. There is no absolute bondage in that. The bondage is of the mind. The mind thinks it's in the bondage, and the mind is the one that is seeking liberation. But the Atam Satchit Anand Swarup is already free. It does not need even freedom. ਅਨਾਥ ਕਵੀ ਜੀ ਕਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਐਸੀ ਕੋਈ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਗਿਆਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਥਨ ਕਰੀਏ. So Maharaj says that there is no such avastha because it's one can only use certain type of vocabulary. One can use Gurmukhi, Hindi, any language to any language in the world to express about this avastha. However, that's why it's called a Kathki Katha. Those who have experienced the truth within themselves, they reach to a conclusion that at one point we can't even express. So Anath Kaviji says the same thing, that it is an akath ki katha. So does Gurbani says this thing, that only those who have experienced it, they know that how it is a kath ki katha. Shri Guru Vach, they so Guru Maharaj does bachan Dohra, ਸੇਵਕ ਹੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਤੂੰ ਮਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਧਨਤਾ ਯੋਗ ਹੈ, ਤੂੰ ਬਾਣੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੀ ਧਨ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਉਦਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਟ ਅਕਲ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ says to the Sikh that you are Tan Sikh, because not only you took time to read this wisdom, but you actually spend time to understand it, to apply it in your life, to actually change your intellect. Now, it's not easy. It's easy to say, I am a Sikh, but when we know the very definition of Sikh is to learn, however, we are not ready to change ourselves. But that should be the very first nature of a Sikh, to be willing to learn and change their lifestyle or change their intellect according to the Gurmat. So Guru says to the Sikh that you are actually very tan, that you have attained this different the intellect, this intellect of this willingness to understand the wisdom, to apply it and change your intellect as per. ਉਪਮਾ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਦੇ ਸਿਧਾਂਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਧਾਰਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says your Tan, who has actually stored, who has actually been fully deserved to keep this wisdom in his ਹਿਰਦੇ. ਤੂੰ ਸ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਟ ਤੇ ਭਲੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਗੁਣਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਸਰੋਤਰੀ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਨੇਸ਼ਟੀ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਭ ਕੇ ਉਸ ਪਾਸੋਂ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਲੈਣਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. Says that you have actually put on the effort to understand, to find a guru, to find Vidya, Brahma Vidya, to spend time reading Granth, to believe in your Vidya Guru's bachan, to do khoj of this Sach. And whatever the bachan Guru said, you have done the palana of those bachan. It's not that you read this Granth and then you started doing your other things and you forgot about it. You actually very willingly in prem, you took the advantage of this knowledge. ਉਸ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਦੇ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਕਮਾਉਣਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਜਲ ਸਰੂਪ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ. And after doing abhyas of this such, the bachan of Guru, the bachan of Gurbani, the bachan of Vichar Mala, you have become one with that Akal Sarup itself. So Sangaji, it's very important to understand that how important it is to do kamai of Guru's bachan, to actually apply the wisdom in life. Dohra, हे सेवक ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣ ਸ਼ਰਵਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਠਹਿਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਸੰਸਾਰਕ ਵਿਸਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਮਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਵਾਸ਼ਨਾਵਾਂ ਵੀ ਹਾਰ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ. So Maharaj says, hey Sikh, those Sikh who actually listen to the Guru's bachan and they do kamai of the Guru's bachan, their all desires in the hirde. It's a state where there is no halchal, no movement happening in their hirde. So they become still. So no amount of desires reach there. That the desires, they have planted the seed of Naam, of the Guru's bachan, that it destroyed all other desires. And when the seed of Naam sprouts, the outcome is the Brahm itself. ਵਿਸਰ ਗਏ ਬੋਲ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਅਕਹਿ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਬਚਨ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਦਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਸੁਰਨ ਮੰਨਣ ਨਿਧ ਆਸਨ ਤੋਂ ਵਾਹਕ ਸਿਖਿਆਤਕਾਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says, in that avastha, it's even not possible, or it's not even, there is no need for to explain anything further after attaining the Brahma avastha. And how did the Sikh attain this Brahma avastha? First of all, by listening to the bachan of the Guru, of the Granth, then by accepting within the mind, and to know that my Guru, whatever the Guru has said, it is 100% the truth. So the acceptance of that Gyan, and then with the practice in the daily life. So Nid Asan. After doing the practice, the Sikh and the Guru became one. ਅਨਾਥ ਕਵੀ ਜੀ ਕਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਗਿਆਨਵਾਨ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਦੀ ਸੰਸਾਰਕ ਰਚਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਪਤ ਬਾਜ਼ੀ ਪਾਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says only the Brahmagyani knows that this is a khed of Akal Purukh. So it's like a play going on, like that, when we see a play in the stage, in a cinema hall or something, and we know these are just characters who are playing with each other. Same way, the Gyanwan knows that this Jagat is a play only. Maharaj says, Bajigar jaise baji pai, nana roop pekh dikhlai. The Bajigar, the very Akal Purukh has created this play, and in this play, he has created so many nana, anek, countless forms to show like the in this difference, like building of these different characters. Dohra, yeh vichar mala granth ਸਹਿਤ ਰਸ ਦੇ ਭਾਵ ਬ੍ਰਹਮਾਨੰਦ ਦੇ ਰਸ ਸਹਿਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਕੋਖ ਕਰਕੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਚਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says this Vichar Mala I have contemplated very deeply to discuss, to do Vichar of this Granth. ਅਨਾਥ ਕਵੀ ਜੀ ਕਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਿਰਣਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਧਨ ਜ਼ਾਹਿਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਹਨ. Anath Kaviji says that I have contemplated very deeply, thoroughly, and after making the decision, I have included the methods of mukti. I have created this Granth after a very deep, thorough discussion, a deep vichar, and expressed the methods of mukti in this Granth. Dohra. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੋਈ ਸੰਸਾਰਕ ਜੰਜਾਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਝਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਆਪਣਾ ਛੁਟਕਾਰਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਹੈ. Anyone who wants to free himself and be in this Anand Avastha that the Brahmagyanis are, and if that person has full Vishwas that whatever they are reading in this Granth, whatever the description in this Granth is given, to have firm belief in that, to have absolute no doubt, and to do vichar of this, ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮਾਲਾ ਉਸ ਪੁਰਖ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਸ ਲਈ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਵਾਲਾ ਥੋੜੀ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਤੇ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ, ਬਲਕਿ ਅਗਿਆਨੀ ਮੂਰਖ ਤੇ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਪੁਰਖ ਉੱਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਗਿਆਨੀ ਪਰ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਬੁੱਧ ਜੜਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮਲ ਵਿਖੇਪ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਅਧਿਕਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says this Vicharmala Granth is not for two people. One who's complete agyani. Now this Granth is for those who are sick, who want to learn, who are willing to change their intellect according to the Gurmat. But for those who have no desire whatsoever to that desire to, or this curiosity to know the truth, they are not going to, this Granth is not going to help them. And the reason is because they are still entangled in so many worldly things that, first of all, they don't even go towards the path of such of a Kalpurak. And this Granth is not going to help them because they're not going to be willing to bring that change within their intellect. And he's not going to understand this Granth. And second, it's this Granth is not for a Brahmagyani, a Gyan one, because he's already grid in his Brahmavastha. So a Brahmagyani who already knows their Sarup, they don't need to, this Granth is not going to offer any help because they already have experienced, they're already one with the Satya. Still, it is known some Brahmagyani, Gyanwan, they still read this Granth and they teach others too. The reason is because they know that the avastha they are in, the world they need to do, they want to do the parupakar as well in the same way so that others can reach in this avastha too. Dohra. ਹੋਰ ਜੇ ਰਤਨ ਹੀਰੇ ਮੋਤੀ ਆਦ ਦੀਆਂ ਮਾਲਾ ਹਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਾਲਾ ਹੇਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਲਾਲਚੀ ਪੁਰਖ ਮਰਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ. Maharaj says if there is a mala that is made of different jewels, precious stones, so, like literally someone is willing to die for that. If that is the avastha, the state of today, like the world, that if there is a mala of diamond jewels, one is willing to even die for that and kill anyone as well. And what's happening even today? We are constantly chasing this material success with either knowingly or unknowingly that there is no end to it. And in this foolishness, we are working, constantly working, struggling with our mental health, physical health, be- without realizing that the things we are chasing, they are so temporary. So it's actually foolishness as well. So Maharaj says, ਇਹ ਅਨਪੁੱਤ ਅਜੀਬ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਭਾਵ ਸ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਟ ਗਿਆਨ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਟ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਤਸਕਰ ਚੋਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਧੀਨ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says this Vichar Mala is so important, so special because it has the Vichar of Akal Purakh. One can attain something within them, this immense treasure that any other type of mala would not even come close to it. So Maharaj says this Vichar Mala is so special that it can even make a thief into a better person, a thief into a Brahmagyani. So even Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, he did parupkar of so many, even Thug as well, like Sajjan Thug or Rakshas as well. That is the avastha of this Granth as well, that anyone can get Brahmagyan by doing abhyas of this. ਦੋਹਰਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਖੱਟ ਛੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਮਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਲੈਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੱਖ ਲੈਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਅਰਥਾਤ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੱਖ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਾਹਰ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ. So Mara says there are so many different types of, basically there are known to be 6 types of mala, the mala that we use in our hand. One is a Rudrak di mala. So it considers as that these beads are somewhat special. So Mara says that they always, if someone who is using a Rudrak mala, they will say, oh, this is really special and the plastic one is not good. Or some says that Tulsi one is good, some says the Moong one is good, and some uses the one with the wool. So there are different types of mala, but Mara says ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮਾਲਾ ਦਵੈਸ਼ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਤ ਤੇ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਤ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਲਈ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਭਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਿਰਦਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ੋਭਦੀ ਹੈ. So Mara says just like how there are other malas, and those malas create debate between people that one is better than the other, or I do so many mala job and I'm better than you. But Mara says this Vichar Mala Granth does dis, it destroys duality in one's hirday. Whoever reads this Vichar Mala does abhyas of it in their hirday, within their heart, it feels very special because this mala, Vichar Mala, is capable of doing the destroying the duality, the param of man, ਦੋਹਰਾ। ਇਸ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਾਲਾ ਵਾਲੀ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਰਾਜਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਰੰਕ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜੋ ਵੀ ਭਾਵਨਾ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਤ ਪੜ੍ਹੇਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਸੁਣੇਗਾ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਲੱਗੇਗੀ ਅਤੇ ਚਾਰੇ ਵਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਚਾਰੇ ਆਸ਼ਰਮ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਭਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਨੰਦ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਹੈ। And this Vichar Mala does not do any vitkara with anyone. This Vichar Mala can be read by anyone who's a Raja, king, or someone who's a professional, someone who is extremely wealthy, someone who is a beggar even. So it does not do any vitkara. It doesn't differentiate between anyone. No one needs to have this special checklist or authority to read this Granth. Now, Sangatji, we need to understand how easily this wisdom is available today. Yet, how many of us are actually understanding this, processing it, and spending time to even do vichar of it? Because this wisdom is not being sold, just like other material things, it's free. That's why we're not being grateful for it at the same time. But Mara says, still, this vichar mala is for everyone and can give ananda to anyone, no matter whatever their worldly status is. ਇਹ ਐਸੀ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਾਲਾ ਰਚਨਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਚਿਤਵਤ ਕਰਨ ਨਾਲ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ। After doing vichar of this vichar mala granth, one attains absolute stillness in their mind. ਦੋਹਰਾ। ਅਨਾਥ ਕਵੀ ਜੀ ਕਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਤੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਕੀਤੇ ਹਨ, ਅਨੇਕ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਦ ਵਿਵਾਦ ਕਥਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ ਪੁਨः ਭਾਵ ਫਿਰ ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਨਿਰਣਾ ਕਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮਾਲਾ ਨਾਮੀ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਰਚਨਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੁੜ ਕੋਈ ਨਿਰਣਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਨਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਪਵੇ। Now see Sangat ji, Anath Kavi ji, he did not just write this Granth after having a few couple of thoughts. He actually, Maharaj said, he has actually read so many Granth, different types of Granth. And after listening to those katha of the Granth, after reading them, and after doing so much vichar of those Granth, he has written this Granth. So that one will never have to go through any other Granth as well, or one does not need to go do any more vichar after this. So Maharaj Nath Kaviji has done so much kirpa on all of us so that we don't have to spend any more time reading anything else, but we can, if one can read this just like with the prem, with full interest, effort, and be willing to let go of this separateness in this shraddha, in this faith, willing to actually with full imandari is able to practice this. Mara says they will never have to go from one granth to another to do vichar. Dohra. हे महान ते प्रबुद्ध विशेष करके ज्ञात रखण वाले कवि जनो, ਜੇਕਰ ਮੇਰੀ ਇਸ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਸਿਧਾਂਤਕ ਗਲਤੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤੀ ਤੋਂ ਉਲਟ ਕੋਈ ਵਾਰਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਾਲਕ ਜਾਣ ਕੇ ਮਾਫ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ। So Anath Kaviji Nimarta says to all other Kavijan out there that if while doing Vichar, if this wisdom is against Brahma in any way, not that it is. This in here, Anath Kaviji is being very humble and saying, "Forgive me like you would forgive a child. Think think of me as a child, and please forgive me if I haven't been able to fully represent, explain, or if I have gone against the Brahmagyan." ਗਲਤ ਜਾਂ ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਸਹੀ ਅੱਖਰ ਦਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੁਧਾਰ ਕਰ ਲੈਣਾ. And according to your intellect, whatever Guru gives you to improve that, whatever, if anything doesn't make sense, to do vichar and improve that as per Gurmat. Dohra. ਨਾਥ ਕਵੀ ਜੀ ਕਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮਾਲਾ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਲਿਖਣ ਦੀ ਕਿਤਨੀ ਕੁ ਚੰਗੀ ਅਕਲ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਵਰਤੀ ਹੈ. Anath Kaviji says, I have whatever little intellect I could use in my own best possible way. I have used that to express this Vicharmala. ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ, ਸੱਚੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਦਇਆ ਹੈ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਨਿਰਣਾ ਕਰਕੇ Vicharmala pustak likhi hai. So Anath Kaviji says that it is the kirpa of Akal Purkh of Satguru that this Vichar I was able to describe, discuss Brahm. I was able to write this Vicharmala. So Maharaj here, a beautiful lesson for us to take that the the nimarta of these Brahmagyanis, that even if they do parupakar for others, they always keep their guru, they always keep their Satguru in their hirde, because it is the Guru. Guru is Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Hai Pi Sach, Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. So it is the kirpa of Guru that anyone is able to speak about this very precious wisdom. ਦੋਹਰਾ ਅਨਾਥ ਕਵੀ ਜੀ ਕਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਨਰੋਤਮਪੁਰੀ ਜਾਂ ਭਗਵਾਨਪੁਰੀ ਜੀ ਨਾਮੀ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਦਾ ਭਜਨ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਾਧੂ ਚੰਗੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਹਨ. So Maharaj Kavi ji tells that the so Narottam Puri ji, his friend who is he's a good friend who does sadhana, who does vichar of Brahm. So they are good friends with them. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੁਕਮ ਪਰ ਭਲੀ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਮੰਨ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮਾਲਾ ਨਾਮੀ ਕਥਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ. So with the hukam of their friend Narottam Puri ji, Anath Kavi ji has Anath Kavi ji has composed this Granth after their friend did hukam to them. Dohra, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਦੇ ਸਿਧਾਂਤ ਨੂੰ ਅਤਿਅੰਤ ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਦੇ ਸਮੇਤ ਪੜ੍ਹੇਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਲਿਖੇਗਾ, ਫਿਰ ਇਸ ਤੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰੇਗਾ. So Maharaj says, whoever will in very much prem, full sharda, full faith, will read this Granth or will write this Granth or do katha of this Granth or do vichar of this Granth, completely do vichar of this. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸੂਰਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਪਲ ਪਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਧਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਉਸ ਪੁਰਖ ਦੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਰੂਪੀ ਸੂਰਜ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਿਆਨ ਰੂਪੀ ਕਿਰਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ. Just like how when the sun rises in the morning and slowly throughout the day, the sun becomes brighter, the day becomes brighter. Same way, those who will do vichar of this Granth in full Sharda, in Prem, and they will absorb this wisdom of the Guru in their Hirde, they will, the Guru, the wisdom will reside in their Hirde, just like how the brightness from the and the brightness from the sun keeps on increasing. So that is the result of this Granth. Dohra, जो भगवत गीता ਦਾ ਸਿਧਾਂਤ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says, whatever is the siddhant, the tat gyan of Bhagavad Gita, I have described in this Granth as well. Even Ashtavakra Gita, the Siddhant, the Tat Gyan from Ashtavakra Gita, Vishishta Muni Ji de Yoga, all the Tat Gyan from those Granth has been described in this Granth as well. Surtha. So Maharaj says 26th and 1726th in the Magh Mahina, in the month of Magh, I think it's a January or February. It was a beautiful month that whatever little intellect I had, Kaviji saying, whatever little intellect I had, according to that, this Granth has been composed, has been written. So Maharaj Ji, Tan Tan Akal Purukh, Tan Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Tan Tan Anathpuri Ji Maharaj Kripa, we completed the Vichar Mala Granth. And it's the Kripa of Akal Purukh only that we are able to do it. If there is any information, any wisdom that has not been completely conveyed during this katha as well, during this English translation, I truly, please forgive me for that too. I truly apologize. But this is a Granth that is capable of making one realize the Brahm Avastha as well. And forgive me today, I am having cold. That's why I'm not able to. I did katha to whatever extent I could. And Maharaj Kirpa, we have done samapti of this Granth. If there is any doubt, any vichar Sangaji, or anything that's not clear during this audio because of the cold as well, please let me know and we can do the re-recording of this. So Maharaj Kirpa, may we actually sit during this with this wisdom. May we actually apply this wisdom because this wisdom is capable of destroying all the desires that one might have and can make one Akal Purukh Sarup as well. So Maharaj Kirpa, may Guru bless us so that this wisdom can reside in our Hirday. ਭੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਕ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ